Today, I'm going to show you how to edit a trip in Shift. So we first log in, you're going to want to go to Operations and then Trips. So let's click on that. And this will bring you to the trip management page. And from here, you have a few options. First of all, you can see a list of all the upcoming trips. And you can also filter these trips. For example, we have the route, so we can choose a route and look at trips only for that route. Let's clear that. We can do the same with the bus, driver, conductor, and then same with the start date, end date, and the status. For example, how about we change the start date to June 13th, the end date to June 13th. And we can see all the trips for June 13th. And next, what we can do is we can select one of these trips to edit. So let's scroll to the end here. So if I go down here and just move this over, then we can see the additional options for each trip. So to edit the trip, we just need to click this icon here. So let's click this. And then from here, we can change the bus, we can change the driver, we can change the conductor. We can also change when bookings open and close, right? So this is when customers can start booking this trip and when they can no longer book this trip. We can leave this, but it can be changed easily with these settings. And the journey time is, the date and time that this trip is going to leave. So this could be easily adjusted based on service adjustments or whatever else impacts your fleet's departure or arrival times. So for example, maybe there's a 1 hour delay. We can easily set this to 7 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. And then let's click save. Now, another thing we can do is view which seats have been bought, which seats are available, and which seats are disabled. And to do this, all we have to do is click this little eye icon. So if we click this, we can see which seats on this bus are available, which seats have been booked, and which seats are currently disabled. And we can also see which seats are reserved, which in this case, there are no reserved seats. Now we can X out of this. And if we'd like to edit which seats are reserved or disabled, we click these three lines here and it will open up this menu where we can reserve or disable seats. So for example, if I select a seat here and then I click this seat is reserved for the elderly and then click reserve seat. Now that seat has been reserved for the elderly. And maybe I can do this one as well. We'll also do elderly. If we'd like to disable seats, all we have to do is click on the disable seats option here. And then any of these seats that we'd like to disable, we can just click on them to disable them. So we can also enable seats by clicking on any of the disabled seats while the disable seats option is active. For example, if I click on this seat, it will enable it. And if I click again, it will disable it once again. We cannot reserve or disable a seat that's already been booked by a passenger. That's why you see this little lock symbol. So if I try to click on one of these seats that's already been booked by a passenger, you can't do it. It's not enabled by the system. And once you're done making your changes, you can just click Save Override in the bottom right. We're not actually going to save this, so I'm just going to click Close. And if you need to cancel a trip entirely, for example, due to weather conditions, etc., then all you have to do is click this button right here. You'll get a warning, so you can either choose to keep the trip or go ahead and cancel it, which will notify any customers who have bought a ticket. So for the sake of this demo, we'll keep the trip. But if you'd like to cancel, all you have to do is click this button here that says yes, cancel trip. And that's everything you need to know to edit a trip in Shift.